So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys what I call the graphite transfer process. The whole idea is that we need to figure out a way to get this image from here onto here. And there are easier ways to do this, I'm sure, but this is the technique I use. It's real effective, and you can get as detail oriented as you want. Obviously you need a printout. Black and white is great because we're only going to use grayscale due to the graphite. These large graphite sticks, it's basically a giant pencil lead. You know, the inside of a pencil, just big with no wood around it. I like softer ones. 9B or 6B or 4B is great. Something a little bit harder than a pencil, you know, which tends to be about HB2 or B2. You'll need some tape, the canvas, a pencil. We'll get to all that in a minute, but the first thing we have to do is we have to coat the back of your image with graphite. And I like to use a mat board or a book or even just a hard desk, something a little harder than this fabric. In normal circumstances, I wouldn't even be doing this on the fabric because I'd be afraid I'd get it a little dirty. But you know what? That's okay in this case. So I'm going to coat this whole thing with graphite. You can see it's not taking very long. And while I'm doing this, let me stress something that's extremely important. I know that some of you guys are going to paint my pictures. You're going to pull them offline. I'll even show you where to do that if you're a hobbyist. But I'm going to ask that you don't just, you know, paint my images and then sell them. That's not right. That's copyright infringement. Which leads me to another thing, which is the importance of creating your own imagery. In which case you could see I found these shoes, I made a backdrop, I photographed them. No one can sit here right now and dispute with me that this image is mine. Because you guys all saw me set it up, you saw me take the pictures, you saw me prepare everything. So one of my goals here is to teach you guys how to make really cool looking imagery that's original. And that's what the last two videos kind of focused on. And now I'm just going to show you how to bring your own original imagery to fruition with the graphite transfer. Way back in the day they used to do the grid process, and some people still do that. But you know what? That's kind of antiquated. You still want to do that, that's cool, but you know what? This is my own original image. The outcome's going to be the same, and this is a whole lot quicker, as you're about to see. So now that I'm done with that, shake this off a little bit. I'm going to take this, I'm going to tape it to the canvas. Done with this thing, so I'm going to set it way off to the side. I'm going to get myself a little bit of tape, like so. I'm going to tape it right over here, because I don't need that part too much. And I only tend to tape when I do these one side, and that is so I can lift them up and kind of look at my progress. It's a pressure sensitive process. I'll show you what I mean here. So where this is as white as a piece of paper, I'm going to leave it white. But this, however, right here, and sometimes what I'll do is I'll just simply find all these shadows. Now the velveteen nature of this background, you could do whatever you want with that. You could transfer it, you can not transfer it. Heck, some of y'all might have used a flat backdrop. That's up to you. But you notice this area is darker, so I'm going to push down a little bit harder. And I'm going to lighten up right here. You'll notice when I lift up that this is darker and that's lighter. And this isn't like my final sketch. This is just, whenever I paint, I just kind of need a reference on where stuff is. And you're going to find out that if you do this, and you follow me stroke for stroke, and you do everything I'm about to do whenever I paint, that your stuff is still going to look very different from mine. And that's just, well, that's the nature of the artist's hand, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a minute, I'm going to transfer this. I'm not going to show you the whole video of me transferring this. I'm going to show you how I get started, and I'm going to show you where I end and what it looks like. And basically the deal is this, is if I want it on there, if I think it's important, I'm going to transfer it. And once again, it is a pressure sensitive process. So you notice like this down here is very light, and you notice over here it's getting darker. And it's going to kind of lighten up a little as we get kind of into this light spot. And so on and so forth. Now this, like I said, is the beginning. And I'm going to stop for a minute. because I'm going to just transfer this. I think you got the gist of how to do it, and I'll show you where I'm at when I'm done so you can see what a transferred image looks like. Alright, so I've reached my point where I'm almost done with my transfer. Matter of fact, I am pretty much done with my transfer. So I'm just going to show you guys so you get an idea that it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, to start off with, you just want to kind of create, you know, an idea of where things are so that when you paint, you kind of work with stuff and have, you know, it's like a large scale reference kind of thing. One thing I will do is I'll be looking at my phone some while I paint this, and before I start painting I'm going to wash my hands. But I just want to give you guys an idea of what it looks like after you transfer your work. There you go, pretty simple.